Oh, Sonic, man. Why? Why do you make me suffer like this? I swear, no other gaming franchise makes me suffer like the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise does. Like, being a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog is actually painful. It is actually painful. Hey everyone, 𝗃𝗃 here, and I'm back with another Sonic Frontiers video, and this time we're not doing a live reaction. I know originally I said the plan was to do another video on the gameplay reveal and just combine those videos into one video and just kind of talk over that, but I said screw it, I'm gonna wait it out and just see all the gameplay we get thus far and just make a overall thoughts video on everything we've seen, because, you know, part of it is that I feel like I've made up my mind about how I feel about Sonic Frontiers right now. Like, there could be some stuff we see later that could change my thoughts, but really, I just don't, I don't care. Like, there was, like, trust me, y'all didn't want to see my live reaction to that gameplay because it wasn't it, bro. Like, you could see the life drain from my face. Heck, you could hear it from my voice, because obviously you're not going to be seeing my face, but you could hear it draining from my voice as I watched it. Like, it was as dry as my live reaction. I almost regret doing a live reaction, because the live reaction, honestly, like, it wasn't any better than how I live reacted when I first saw the Frontiers gameplay. But yeah, I think it's about time we finally give my full thoughts on how Sonic Frontiers looks right now, and let me tell you, man, the current state of this game is a shit show. Like, I can't even sugarcoat it. It is a shit show. It is absolutely ridiculous how dry and, in some areas, just straight bad this game looks. Like, keep in mind, 4 to 5 years of development, people. 4 to 5 years of development. Now, some people say, you know, that I'm getting this wrong and that it's possible the game started development actually around 2019. Okay, that's fair, you know, maybe they started development in 2019. But even if that's the case, you know, that's at least 1 year of development, plus, you know, the work throughout 2021, and then this year, you know, like, even if they started in 2019, that's still a good couple of years to have put some time into this game. What we saw in the gameplay showcases we got were, like, so, like, unpolished looking. Like, you would think that they started development of this game like a few weeks ago. You would think that they literally opened Unreal Engine, plugged in their physics and engine work from Forces, and called it a day. And the reason why I say that specifically is because I think, you know, it's time for me to stop beating around the bush and just get to my analysis of the overall state of Sonic Frontiers and giving my thoughts on why basically it is inexcusable. Because to me, what we saw is inexcusable for this being the next big mainline Sonic game. Now, in some ways, I'm not surprised with how this ended up turning out, because as you guys know, over my last few videos, I've been pretty pessimistic with Sonic's direction. I've been criticizing Sega, Sonic Team, and the overall state of Sonic the Hedgehog non-stop. And the only reason I've taken breaks from that stuff is, of course, when it's stuff that's not the main game series, you know? Like the movies and, of course, the multimedia. So, obviously, when I'm talking about anything but the games, I'm not in this super negative mood. But, of course, the current state of the games has been just so ridiculously bad lately that, yeah, I'm not surprised Sonic Frontiers is looking the way it is, but I'm just, like, baffled in some ways, because this is looking so much more unpolished than I could have ever imagined, bro. Like, the gameplay just looks so dry. And basically what I have is I have a list of my overall thoughts on the gameplay, what, you know, could look good under better circumstances, what I think just looks inexcusable and ridiculous, and things of that nature. So let's go ahead and break this down. So first and foremost, a problem people say is with this gameplay is the overall flow of the gameplay. One of the biggest problems with this gameplay is that it seems like Sonic is just kind of wandering around, you know? There's no like solid level design to this world that Sonic is exploring. Basically, he's just running around aimlessly. Occasionally, he'll come across enemies. Occasionally, he'll find like a rail in the sky or a tower he can climb or something like that. And it just looks like a dry and flavorless Sonic gameplay experience. It basically looks like Sega looked at Zelda Breath of the Wild for literally like 1 minute. They like watched gameplay of that game for 1 minute and just kind of put things that were in Breath of the Wild into something that Sonic can mess around with. For example, there's like the towers. You know how Breath of the Wild has those towers, and there are Ubisoft towers in open world games and stuff like that? Well, they took the towers, but there's like no depth to the towers at all. Obviously, Sonic can wall climb it because, oh, Breath of the Wild had wall climbing, so let's give Sonic climbing, you know? It doesn't matter that it doesn't mix with his fast flowing running. We don't have to like combine it with something like the parkour to make it interesting. No, let's just so have it so Sonic can climb, because Breath of the Wild had climbing, so clearly Sonic can do it too. Ugh, it is unreal how just brain dead Sega is when it comes to their experimentation, and how they think they can just shove Sonic into stuff without putting in the effort to actually make it work. Like, I've ranted about this multiple times, how Sega has a bit of a problem where they shove Sonic into specific formulas in genres without actually considering how Sonic is a very different character from a character like Link, like other open world characters. But they just put no thought into it, you know? It truly feels like they just slapped Sonic into Breath of the Wild. Now, and I've seen defenses for this, you know? People saying, well, it's an open world game. Sonic's not copying Breath of the Wild and other specific open world games. He's just copying the overall trend of open world games. You're just being, you know, a big fanboy of Zelda and other open world games. Like, comparing Sonic to other open world games is ridiculous. No, it isn't, bro. No, it isn't, because other open world games do so much more effort to distinguish themselves. Yeah, there are open world games out there that blindly copy like big popular ones like Skyrim and stuff like that. But this is probably the most shameless I have seen Sonic, you know, straight up jump into a formula and try to replicate it without adding his own unique flavor. Like, there is very little here that is unique and interesting when it comes to Sonic's gameplay. You know, even down to like stuff like the weather system. Now, on one hand, I do think the weather system is cool. The fact that we see that it rains at some point in the environment, I actually think that's cool, because that reminds me of the day and night cycle that was scrapped with Sonic 06. I actually think that's cool. But it's so hard to like be happy for that when in the end it's basically just they added it because, oh yeah, Breath of the Wild has it. Even down to the music, you can tell all they want to do is replicate what Breath of the Wild did. And this is something that's bad, because you don't want to replicate every open world game as of recent where they have this ambient music and they don't have much, you know, energetic music. Like, when I was watching that initial reveal of Sonic Frontiers, it was baffling to me how boring and just unenergetic that first teaser trailer felt, because the music was so slow and just unfitting to Sonic. He wasn't really doing anything interesting besides fighting a few enemies, and of course the hamster wheel. Like, that has to be the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Now, maybe under certain other circumstances, the hamster wheel wouldn't be this lame looking thing to me, but because it's in this open world game where Sonic is already slowly like just trudging along and just occasionally solving puzzles, it just looks extra lame on top of all that other stuff. Which, speaking of the puzzles in this gameplay are just absolutely like just boring looking. Like, we have the floor pattern stuff and the lighting flames just by walking in a circle around it. Oh wow, how genius. Sonic can walk in a circle around something and that automatically gives him an answer. Like, that's part of the reason why this gameplay is so boring looking. It just feels repetitive. It feels like it just had like a few minutes of thought into it. Like, and I've seen so many other videos analyzing this and adding their own ideas as to how they could make this look interesting, and it's baffling how other people have so many more interesting ideas of how to make Sonic an open world so much cooler, but yet Sonic Team's best idea is to just have Sonic, you know, walk around the world, solve these slow puzzles that don't feel Sonic-like at all. Occasionally we'll have somewhat interesting stuff with like parkouring and sort of climbing up stuff fast, and rails obviously. Occasionally we'll have that, and the combat is a thing, you know. I guess it's something, like I guess it's something that the enemies, you know, take a bit more of a hit to actually, you know, hit. But one thing that I've noticed the more that I've watched the gameplay is that the enemies, even they don't have depth. For example, there's this one moment in the combat gameplay where Sonic fights this giant Titan boss, and this boss does nothing, bro. It does nothing. All you do is you run up with it, with Sonic, you hit it with some big attacks, and that's it. Like, it does not fight back. It doesn't do anything interesting with its attack patterns. Compare that to bosses in something like Breath of the Wild, where they actually have specific attacks and mechanics around them. Like, even the smaller enemies in Breath of the Wild had little things about them that made them interesting. For example, the wizard bosses, they had elemental powers. There was the lightning wizard, where if you fight that boss during a lightning storm with the weather, then they're gonna be powered up, and the lightning that they can hit you with can take you out easily. You know, stuff like that is what you could do with Sonic in open world. But no, bro, none of these enemies have any depth, and they're also super generic looking. Like, on one hand, I like that it's possible we won't have like generic Eggman robots or overused nostalgia in terms of an antagonistic force with this game. But on the other hand, these bosses and these enemies, they just look like generic robotic blobs, you know? They don't look interesting at all, and it doesn't help we didn't get that much of a look into the story. And I don't have much hope that the story is gonna turn things around, because like, some people say the story is really gonna help things. No, bro. As much as Ian Flynn, he's had his highs before, sometimes he's not any better than Pontaff. Let's be honest with ourselves. That, and I already gave up on the story when we learned Roger Craig Smith was coming back. But yeah, I am just, it's baffling to me how weak this gameplay looks. It's just baffling. Now, I guess we gotta get into the worst part of all this, which is, of course, the overall core physics, Sonic's moveset, and the animations. Now, the animations are trash, bro. We see so many instances of Sonic's just standing in midair. We see so many instances of Sonic's animations just like not coming out properly. Like, it is baffling how bad the animation is. And of course, the physics in Sonic's overall core control, it's basically forces. What they basically did is they ported how Sonic plays in forces into an open world engine and called it a day. That's it. And I feel like out of all the things I've ranted about so far, that's what makes me mad the most so far, because good lord, bro. I tried warning y'all. Like, people really thought Sega was gonna magically pull out a better gameplay system when they weren't hiring and weren't bringing in new people to replace the boost team that they lost with Colors and Generations. Remember how Forces touted how it had the folks behind Colors and Generations, but then we learned, oh wait, those people went on to join Nintendo and Square Enix. So Forces was actually just this small team of newbies, you know? Well, again, it basically seems like we just have the same team. Some people say, you know, that we have Phantasy Star Online folks on this, so that's making things a little bit better, but it clearly isn't. It clearly isn't, bro. Like, you can't just bring in a small few developers from an entirely different series and think that's gonna magically make things better on top of an already underdeveloped team, you know? Like, again, like, this is all stuff I tried warning Sonic fans about. I tried. But, of course, they just don't listen, and I'm just very disappointed with how this gameplay looks, man. Like, nothing in this gameplay was impressive. It's so boring looking. Like, I tried to give it a chance, bro, in my initial live reaction. I tried to give it a chance, but the gameplay is just boring. There's so many things that are huge red flags and just look effortless compared to like literally not only any other open world game, but even other linear games, bro. Like again, Forces is a game that can't even like be that great as a linear game. So putting Forces mechanics in open world, how do you think that's gonna play? How do you think that's gonna play, bro? Just ridiculous, man. Alright, and now it's time to get to this part of the video, which is going to be breaking down the ridiculous amount of defenses I've seen towards this gameplay. Now, originally, I wasn't going to do a segment like this. You know, usually when it comes to a new Sonic game and Sonic fanboys damage controlling, I focus on that a lot, obviously, because I'm a guy who's very critical when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog, but I didn't want to do it this time because I don't want to get caught doing the same thing and repeating the same stuff over and over again. But bro, the excuses this time have gotten just so ridiculous. Some of them are so ridiculous and just low that I have to do a whole little like segment just breaking down what is the problem with all of these defenses. So I got a whole list here, bro. I got a whole list of things in defense of this, and I'm not doing this because I just want to, you know, shit on the Sonic Frontiers gameplay nonstop. I don't want Sonic Frontiers to be bad, bro. I'm not preying on the downfall of Sonic fans. I swear to God, I swear to God, I actually like this franchise. I mean, I used to, but oh man, but yeah, I gotta do this, bro. I gotta. So let's get this started. Let's get this party started. Defense 1. Sonic has always been about slow puzzles and, you know, exploring around aimlessly and stuff like that. You know, for example, in the Sega Genesis trilogy, Sonic did puzzles like pushing blocks. And this one baffled me, bro. How on earth is literally just pushing blocks momentarily and then going about the rest of the stage not doing any sort of puzzles? How is that a puzzle? I'm just... I shouldn't have to explain what's wrong with that, but I'm just gonna move on. You know what? I'm not gonna explain what's wrong with it. I'm gonna move on. The next excuse that we have here is blaming it on other open world games. Basically, what folks are saying is Sonic Frontiers looks this way because it's replicating other open world games. And the reason why Sonic Frontiers has so many of these problems that people don't like is these problems are simply present in other open world games. Which to that I say, bull, bro. Because if you look at mostly any other open world game, their gameplay does not look as dry and bad as this. One common example, of course, is Breath of the Wild. Obviously, because this is the game that Sonic Frontiers is getting compared to non-stop. People say that a lot of the bad tropes present in Sonic Frontiers is from Breath of the Wild. And let me tell you that everything Sonic Frontiers thinks that it's doing right, Breath of the Wild does a million times better. For example, let's compare the first few gameplay clips of Breath of the Wild, such as the first trailer, to that first Sonic Frontiers teaser trailer. In that first Breath of the Wild trailer alone that gave us gameplay for the first time, we saw so much more than what the Frontiers gameplay offered us. For example, we saw new mechanics such as Link's flurry rush mode. We saw, you know, Link switching out between weapons. We saw Link exploring environments and climbing for the first time. And the difference between Link's climbing and Sonic's, you know, half-baked climbing with the towers is that Link can actually climb any surface almost. Like, he can climb entire mountains in the open world. He can climb large structures and reach specific areas that he never could before. He also was given a jump button for the first time. Like, in that first Breath of the Wild trailer alone, you see so many new mechanics. You see so many different environments. You see different enemy types, you see different weapons and different little things you can do to attack your enemies and stuff like that. Like, it is night and day comparing those. So it baffles me that people say Sonic Frontiers' faults are because of the faults of other open world games. Baffling to me. Baffling. I'm not lingering on that anymore. The next defense that we have is, you're just mad at the reused assets, you know? People complaining about the reused assets are being overdramatic. Now with this one, I do think some people are making a bit of a big of a deal out of reused asset, because let's be honest, games reuse assets all the time. Like the adventure games reuse assets between each other. There's a lot of games similar between each other, such as the 𝗃𝗄𝗃 Return to Dreamland formula games that reuse assets between each other. Like games reuse assets between each other all the time. So it's not that I'm necessarily mad at. Like, for example, if it was just Sonic's model that was carried over, I wouldn't, you know, I don't like how Sonic looks in not Frontiers, in Forces 100%, so obviously that model being carried over is a bit of a problem to me, but if it were just that alone, I wouldn't be mad. The issue is that they're reusing so many, like, just effortless assets. Like, you can tell that they are putting minimal effort into this game. The fact that they didn't take any time to improve how Sonic controls in Forces tells you the amount of effort and the amount of resources they're putting into this game. And that is ridiculous, because this is the next mainline big 3D Sonic the Hedgehog experience. I expect a little more effort. Like, look at a game like Mania. Mania recreated so many new, like, little assets and things with the physics and stuff from the ground up. But you mean to tell me this big, supposed big budget Sonic game can't? Ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous. So people who are using the reuse asset card, while I can somewhat understand their point, some people are just being ridiculous with that. The next point I have is, oh, but they are putting more effort. Sonic has idle animations now. Oh man. Okay, next point. Oh my god, help me, please help me. I'm actually in pain. Okay. Wait until the story. Again, I already touched on that. The story is not saving anything. If the gameplay isn't good, if the gameplay is mediocre, what is the story gonna do, bro? And I don't think the story is gonna be good regardless, bro. Like, a lot of people are putting a lot of faith in the Ian Flynn, but I just don't have it, bro. I just don't have it, especially with how effortless this gameplay looks. Like, if they're not putting this much effort and the gameplay looks this wonky despite all this time they've had to make it look somewhat decent, then bro, how do you think the story is going to be any better? Again, look at not Frontiers. Again, Forces and Frontiers are just synonymous with me at this point. It's ridiculous, but yeah, just unreal. At least it's not ugly like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now this one I found hilarious. Now the reason why people are using this one is because the day we got, I think the day we got that gameplay is the day that we got more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet information. And I'm not going to talk too much about that because I'm going to do it in a separate video where I talk a little bit more about Nintendo stuff. But basically, it's always funny when Sonic fans, got to use other games to cover their own faults. Bro, stop hiding behind games that are potentially as weak or even worse to make your game look better. Like, that doesn't make your game look better, bro. Like, if you have to compare your game to something you think is bad to make it look good, then that doesn't make your game look good, bro. What are you talking about? Like, and I'm not saying Pokemon Scarlet and Violet looks bad right now. Honestly, like, if you just want general thoughts on that without getting too rambly on that yet. Basically, I just think it looks like kind of how I felt with Sword and Shield. But it's so funny people can make comparisons to Pokemon because, bro, even Pokemon at the bare minimum, like, feels like it had at least some thought put into its gameplay, and people can rant about how similar Scarlet and Violet is looking to Sword and Shield right now, but at least the core Pokemon formula is actually good, bro. Like, the core Pokemon formula as it is a proven working formula, and Game Freak at least understands that. Like, if Game Freak had the development time that Sega had to work on Frontiers, then I feel like they would put out a fire Pokemon game. And we've seen that in the past, you know, when Game Freak actually is given that extra development time to work on games, they can put out great games. But meanwhile, Sega has all this time, but they can't put out something remotely decent, you know? Alright, the next defense. Sonic fans will never be satisfied, and ain't this one a classic one? Bro, I feel like there was this one reply on Twitter that just answered this one perfectly, which basically said we would be satisfied getting a fucking good game. Which that one nailed it, bro. That one nailed it. We would be satisfied getting a good game, and that would satisfy us, so, you know? Alright. Okay, so this next one I'm going to talk about is a little bit of a recent one that I just kind of snuck on here, you know? I wanted to sneak it on here while I was rambling, which is that, oh, well, fans are just being toxic criticizing this gameplay, you know? So many fans have called out developers like Kishimoto and Iizuka by name, and they're just being toxic about this whole thing. And yes, this is also another classic one. Like, I made a whole tweet thread breaking down this one, bro. Like, I almost feel like I don't need to explain it because the tweet thread basically hit it out the park, but I'm gonna just repeat it for those of you, you know, who don't have the Twitters. Basically, my response to this was, yes, so why are you blindly attacking this single developer? Why are you so toxic? Gee, maybe because this developer, who has had experience between multiple games, clearly shows a pattern of no improvement. Like, I get it, guys. Like, blaming one person for the faults of an entire game isn't ideal. We've seen how this has put a lot of heat on developers who aren't the sole problem with a game. Or heck, sometimes they didn't even do anything and are just getting crucified for no reason. But when they're literally someone as important as the director of the game, which Kishimoto is, or there's someone like Iizuka who clearly has a big role on multiple Sonic games, gee, maybe they do deserve a little criticism because they're the ones who are key people in charge of the game. Huh. You know, and it's crazy people say this because a lot of the time we won't be saying toxic stuff towards Kishimoto or Iizuka. Like, the people who, you know, meme on Iizuka and Kishimoto and make fun of them personally, I can understand, you know, calling those people toxic, quote unquote. But when we're literally doing nothing but just criticizing the product that they're putting out, we're criticizing the way that they've handled these Sonic games, how is that toxic? You know, by that logic, any criticism is toxic. And we've seen this time and time again with Sonic. I keep saying, you know, Sonic fans have a problem with accepting criticism sometimes, but people just kind of just write that off. Oh, every fan base has their fanboys. Not like the Sonic community, bro. Not like the Sonic community. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. Alright, what's next? Hey, at least it might have a Chao Garden. Now, some people think that it's possible Frontiers will have a Chao Garden or some kind of equivalent to it because we see random things like coins, you know, for currency, and we see fruits. And the fruits are especially big sus because, you know, that's synonymous with Chao. But you know how I feel about that? I basically said it in a tweet, which I feel like it's nothing more than more blind Sonic Adventure fan pandering without the actual love and respect towards it. Like, you all know from my previous videos how it's 100% clear Sega does not give a damn about the adventure games or their fans, bro. Like, if anything, sometimes it feels like they actively detest them for whatever fucking reason, bro. Like, that's a whole subject I gotta do another video. But if this game does have a Chao Garden, yeah, that would be neat because they finally listened after years of people begging for it. But what does that mean, you know, when it potentially won't be as in-depth as the other Chao Gardens, or the gameplay around it won't be good? You know what I'm saying? But, alright. Hey, future games could be better. We could get something like Adventure remakes, which this one made me laugh because as if I'm excited for Adventure remakes now after seeing this gameplay. Yeah, I totally want to play Adventure remakes with Sonic Forces control. No thanks. Alright, let's get to the next one. Hey, the issue is in Sonic Team's management, not Sega, you know, and this one, I'm so tired of this one. Now, I already made a whole rant video about how both Sega and Sonic Team are in decline synonymously because Sega as an entire corporation has been making stupid mistakes for the longest time. What's the proof of that? For example, remember how I was warning Persona fans that Sega is there, even they are not immune to Sega dropping the ball just because, you know, Atlas is a bit separate from Sega? Notice how they haven't done anything for the Persona anniversary yet, bro. Like, I've seen some Persona fans complaining about how they haven't done anything for the anniversary, and it's like, yeah, they haven't done much for the Sonic anniversaries either, so why are y'all surprised? And then you have crazy stuff like them hyping up an announcement for something. Some people think it's a Dreamcast Mini, but oh no, it's the Mega Drive 2 with Sega CD games, which who on earth cares about Sega CD games, bro? Like, I know there's some solid Sega CD games out there, but bro, you're not about to tell me you care about any other Sega CD game other than what? Sonic CD itself. So come on, man. Sega is very clearly, you know, capable of making stupid decisions. This is not a problem with Sonic Team. It is a problem with Sega, and it is always, well, I wouldn't say always, but it has been for a long while. Let's just say that much. Next. Don't worry, bro. The combat will save the gameplay. Now, when I was criticizing the initial gameplay reveal on Twitter, a lot of people were saying that the combat is going to save this game. Now, to be fair, the combat does look like it has a little more thought than other areas into the game. You know, there's some interesting things with the combat, you know. For example, Sonic has this one cool move where he has a range attack that looks similar to something like Sonic Wind. And I'll admit that's a little cool looking, but again, like, because of how it doesn't make the overall gameplay any more engaging, I feel like that combat is just going to feel repetitive, you know? Like, if you have to do the repetitive stuff like solving these boring puzzles and aimlessly running around the open world in order to unlock more interesting moves, then what does that mean for the combat? You know? Like, again, this is why I compared Sonic Frontiers, you know, to both Sonic Lost World and Sonic Forces, but it's kind of funny because, if anything, Sonic Frontiers does not match up with Lost World at all. Like, Lost World does some things better than what Sonic Frontiers is doing, bro. And that is an insane statement to say, bro, considering my thoughts on Sonic Lost World. Next excuse. Bro, this is all on IGN, the IGN player who was clearly playing bad on purpose. And this one is kind of funny because we got this gameplay from IGN, so a lot of people were pretty much blaming IGN for playing like trash. And this is a reasonable complaint because we know how IGN is. But it actually was revealed that this is not IGN's fault because, first of all, as trash as IGN is, they can't make a game like this look bad, bro. Like, when the gameplay is inherently slow and dry feeling, you can't blame it on the player. Like, IGN, they've done some dumb stuff and they've made Sonic games look worse than they actually are, but I feel like this is not a case of an IGN player making stuff look bad. And what makes this extra funny is we learned that the gameplay we've gotten so far has not been from an IGN player. It actually comes directly from Sega, and we got this confirmed from someone at IGN, which is crazy. Like, you mean to tell me that Sega literally just sent them some gameplay of them wandering around this open world instead of like an interesting edited trailer or something like that? That is insane to me. That is insane to me, which I feel like is another problem with this game. The presentation is just not good. It's just not good, bro. Alright, next excuse. It's an early build, bro. Just wait till release and... Come on, man. We gotta stop this one, bro. Like, we gave them, like, what? 3 to 5 years, bro. We gave them 3 to 5 years. The rushing excuse is no longer valid, bro. It's very clear that time is not the problem. Them rushing these games is not the problem. The problem is that they're not putting their best foot forward when working on big 3D Sonic games. That is the problem. Heck, any Sonic games for that matter, because let's be honest, when was the last time they made a good 2D game too? Like, I warned people, if they didn't improve themselves and build up a better team than the one from Forces, this was the outcome we were going to get. Just exhausting. Which is going to bring us to the last excuse, and the one that I wanted to get to the most, which is that people are, of course, blaming this as naturally problems with modern Sonic and 3D Sonic, which I don't even have to explain much here, because no, as we can see in other 3D Sonic games and other modern Sonic games, quote-unquote modern Sonic games, because it's just classic fanboys trying to make 3D the problem as fucking usual. Like, that's not the problem, bro. The problem is the execution. It is the execution. I don't know how much more clearer I can make that without going insane, but yeah. I feel like I've run down all the excuses, so now let's just get to the conclusion. Alright, and that's gonna bring us to my conclusion, folks. So what are my overall final thoughts on Sonic Frontiers? Just putting aside the dumb arguments I've had to argue against, and putting aside, my own, just my own, what I would have loved to see for an open world or a 3D Sonic game in 2022. What do I think of what we've seen of Frontier so far? I'm broken, bro. I'm broken. Like, people who are defending this, I get it. If this game met your standards, that's fine. I'm done with, really just treating people like they're objectively wrong if they think something is good that I don't. That's fine. I've grown past the point of legitimately getting mad at folks with different perspectives on games. But these excuses and attacks on folks for criticizing how this game looks is just not it, bro. Like, it angers me that people think what we've seen so far is okay, because this is why Sega will never put that much effort into a 3D Sonic again, bro, because no matter what they do, people will defend it. And heck, some people are probably gonna buy this game, bro. Like, I know I'm not. I'll find a way. I'll find some other way to play it, bro. So I'll find some other way. I'll buy it secondhand or some other way, but it's just ridiculous. I don't know how much more I can say, Like, compare this game and how they presented it to literally any other company. Any other company would present a game like this so much better, with better gameplay footage, a better edited trailer, a better, just better presentation of the game. But it's Sega and Sonic Team, so why am I surprised? I'm just broken, bro. I don't even know what much more I can say in this specific video, other than I'm hurt, I'm disappointed, and I wish things were better. I wish things didn't have to be like this, And if you think I'm being over dramatic, that's fine. Unsubscribe, leave your dislikes, whatever, bro. Leave your comments. I don't care. But I'm just being honest. I just think they could have handled this thing much better. Come on, bro. You cannot deny that this can look much better, bro. Much better. But don't worry, guys. At least we have the multimedia. Sonic Origins is coming out, and we're getting more Genesis stuff of the same games we've played a million times, so that's good. We got comics, we've got a new show, we've got movies, so clearly everything is okay, right? Anyway, this has been Nux. I'll see you guys next video, Again, keep in mind, I'm not done with Sonic, This is not a moment where I'm like, yeah, I'm done with Sonic forever, bye y'all. No, it's not that. But man, it is gonna be really hard for me to care about the future of the Sonic brand going forward. That's all I gotta say, Peace out.